And in the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, minority in Parliament serves notice to kick against constitution of a joint committee to probe election-related violence following counter-motion filed by 4 majority MPs of the House.
Any attempts by anybody in the House to make it a joint investigation? No, there are 2 different motions.
We'll hear from some MPs and speak live with the Majority Chief Whip. Also tonight, Pensions Regulatory Authority incurs wrath of Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana. After it emerged, the Controller and Accountant General failed to transfer deducted pension funds to SNIT.
And we ask ourselves whether the NPRA is up to the task. We are facing more pension issues. Why? Because the regulator is not doing its job.
More as Clocksack criticizes SNIT for what it describes as investments in misplaced projects.
Today, we see SNIT investing on necessary projects at Nigeria.
And then tonight we are in the Volta region where police there have begun investigations into circumstances under which a man in Denu allegedly beat his wife to death and secretly deposited her body at the morgue.
There were bruises, contusion, and blood oozing from a broken jaw of the deceased. And further checks also revealed that the mortuary attendant had connived with the suspect.
And in business, government secures more than targeted amount in Eurobond auction, but took a little over $3 billion because of higher rates offered by investors.
And a bit later in sports, minority leader and president of Steadfast FC, Haruna Idrisu, reveals there's been multiple offers for 17-year-old midfielder Abdul Fattah Isahaku. Details later in sports.
You want to join us for the details from the world of sports and business, and then later how the Bono East regional town of Boyem played a critical role after the war between the Ashantis and the Bono people.
Here is a secret place that they can stay because it has been surrounded by the rock, and due to the rocks, they can easily protect themselves.
Details in our Ghana Month series later. Send me a WhatsApp 055 1111 997. My name is Evans Mensah. We start in Parliament where the minority says it will oppose any attempt to constitute a joint committee to probe election-related violence following a counter-motion filed by 4 majority MPs of the House. The 4 MPs today filed 2 counter-motions requesting Parliament to investigate electoral-related violence since the inception of the Fourth Republic. This comes after 6 minority MPs led by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu filed the motion for Parliament to investigate circumstances leading to the violence during the 2020 polls. Member of Parliament for Nshaiso Stephen Amwa, who is one of the 4 majority MPs who filed the counter motion, tells Joy News the investigation will enable the country establish a blueprint in dealing with the causes of electoral violence during elections.
But the fact is, you cannot take just a segment of a period that suits you. In any case, let's be very honest and find out historical records with respect to or associated with political violence. Bunguru yo issue that he was talking about. Let me ask you, how can today, Nana de Dankwa, there's a big ceremony organized by his government, and then Izi Bouquet will be given to NDC child to go and give to Nana de Dankwa. You see, this propaganda they've been doing, it will not fly. The fact of the matter is that when we all heard Azuka Boys, for 3 different elections in Ghana, we have not had any vigilante group, any honest, God-fearing person here who attests to that fact. Political violence started UP Matemahu. Me affected my great-grandfather. No, mother. She was a queen mother. We were UP. And if you have heard the knife called Bafo, have you heard the knife called Bafo that will open? It came as a result of political violence. Somebody left CPP, one was Bafo, one was Chumesi, and he used that knife to kill the other person. So they named that thing Bafo. So political violence started CPP Martin Hotai. Then it actually went off. There wasn't anything like that in our society till PNDC, NDC came. Talansi, Benabe, Etiwa, Asokwa, Esnafonov, in the Branhafo. You heard all those stories. People were buttered like as a fresh meat. And I have samples here. They are all here. One young pastor was killed, and they are all here just recently. So what we are saying is that whether it happened under NDC or MPP, it is unacceptable. So if we are making a call, let's expand it so that we know the root cause, and make sure that we find an eternal solution or everlasting solution to it.
Wouldn't that be more of chasing the wind? Because as we speak, those who may have perpetuated the 93, 96, 2000 election.
So what about 2016?
Of course, it's a recent election.
Exactly. So what we are saying is that any honest, God-fearing person who is a Ghanaian and wants solution and not being political or partial will call for all regimes that we can have access to data with respect to violence and find out the root cause, the remote cause.
Well, Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram from the NDC side, Sam George, disagrees.
The military coming in. Who authorized the military to go in? What was the mandate of the military? Was it a containment exercise or to shoot into a crowd that was unarmed? We need to have this investigation. So, like I said, the majority side, the MPP side, Adnot Domprey and Afenyo Maken, they can take this back to even Segogi Beg's time. We don't care. What we are interested in is the killing and murder of 7 Ghanaian citizens by members of the Ghana Armed Forces and Security Services during the conduct of the 7th, 8th, and 9th of December 2020.
Where we go back to 1993, when most of the players, some of them are actually not alive as we speak.
I would be shocked if the speaker would want to consolidate the motions. There are 2 independent motions. So we can have 2 different committees. That's why I'm saying that, look, this is an attempt to filibuster. Look, per the parliamentary practice of filibustering, this is a filibustering attempt by the majority to just filibuster the process and make it look like, make it a stupid case. Sorry. We will give them their 1993 investigation. And I'm saying that we can even send it back to 1957 or Segegi Beg's time for them. But that is independent and completely different from the motion that was filed by Haruna Idrisu, Muntaka Mubarak, Okujoto Ablakwa, and Suhini on the issues of 7th, 8th, and 9th of December 2020. That will stand alone as an investigation on its own. Anybody who wants, and we will oppose any attempts by anybody in the House to make it a joint investigation. No, there are 2 different motions.
I want to bring in now the Member of Parliament for Busa North, James Agaga, who used to be a Deputy Interior Minister in the former administration. Mr. Agaga, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. So really, the majority side say if you really want to look into election violence, you have to go back to the beginning of the 4th Republican Constitution, 1992. Isn't that fair?
Oh, Evans, I think that the attempt by the majority in Parliament to have Parliament look into election-related violence starting from 1993 is rather too far-fetched. I mean, first of all, what are the specificities? I mean, we should look into electoral violence starting from 93 and what would be the end point. I mean, that is not how to invite the House to interrogate issues. In any case, who lost their lives as a result of electoral violence starting from 93 up till date?
Well, they talked about
you need to be specific.
They talk about Tripoli, for example, where
to be specific.
They talk about Tripoli, for example, in the by-election where people were assaulted. They talked about Tripoli, for example, where people were assaulted, people were maimed, they lost limbs, etc. That all that should be part of a proper holistic investigation.
Who are those people? Can you mention?
Forgive me, the line wasn't great. The line wasn't great. Can you repeat that question?
Yes, my question is, who are the people who were maimed, who lost limbs? Can you mention them by name?
But I can't. Isn't that why you need an investigation that goes that back?
No, you see, when you're calling for an investigation, you must have your facts right. You must be very specific. In our case, we have cited clear examples of the murders of 7 Ghanaians, right? And they just ended presidential and parliamentary elections at various collation centers. We're saying that up till now, those murders have not been investigated. So let us have an independent body to look into the murders, what may have occasioned the murders, and how to forestall the future occurrence of violence in our elections. Why should that suddenly result in a counter motion to have us go back to 93 and investigate all forms of electoral violence?
Are you suggesting? Are you suggesting?
When would such a committee complete its work? In any case, where were they? All this while, where were they?
I mean, isn't it better late than never?
The current MPP majority members in Parliament were in Parliament starting from 96. Why did they not call for an investigation as far back as 96? Why did they not call for an investigation in 2000, 2004? They wait, and when atrocities have been committed, and we think that Parliament must exercise its oversight. In any case, Evan, the fundamental question we should be asking ourselves is, what has prompted the minority to call for an independent probe? It is because the state is unwilling to investigate the killings. If they were willing to investigate the killings, we wouldn't even be calling for an independent probe to start with. So Evans, let's not muddy the waters by filing counter motions in a matter like this, and then we're saying we should go back to 1993. So where were they all this while?
Let me put that question. Let me put that question that you just asked to one of the majority MP members of Parliament who filed this counter motion, Stephen Amwa, who is a member of Parliament for Nshai. So, Mr. Amwa, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
It's a pleasure having you on your set.
Your colleague from the other side, James Agaga, is asking a simple question. You've been in a majority before. You've been in government. Why now? Why do you want to go back to 1993 when you've had opportunities in the past to do so and you failed? Isn't this only because they've asked for their own latest investigations to the 2020 elections and you're seeking to equalize?
Thank you very much, Evans, for having me on your set. My regards to our listeners this evening. I'm quite astonished the way my brothers from the other side are actually putting up their argument. I mean, in my opinion, the question they are actually putting up, to me, it's so irrelevant. There could be a lot of issues in our society that at a point in time, we all could raise issues and think, okay, this is the time to investigate. And this is not even the first time. Probably on the floor, I don't know because I'm a first timer. But you can't remember what happened in Etiwa, what happened in Kalensi, what happened in Binabe. We raised issues. Even as far as Martinihu and UPTI, the reason a type of knife locally called Buffalo was named. Somebody left CPP, joined Martinihu, that is UP, during that time, and another guy called Chumesi and Buffalo, one used it to kill the other. After that, there was investigation when power shifted. So this thing has been going on not even today. But what we are trying to say is that we are not saying it is wrong to call for investigation into such an unfortunate incident. But we are saying that you cannot just take a segment. You have to pick the whole value chain, the whole issue, and find out the remote causes and the immediate causes. What happened 2016 in National North or South in Brahafo, where we have Honorable Eric Opoku. One pastor called Nyame Kwame was brutally killed, tortured and killed. Not only that,
Mr.
a
Amwa,
number of them were tortured.
Mr.
So
Amwa,
you're saying that
Mr.
any form of violence is unacceptable.
Yeah, Mr. Amwa, you talk about violence and somebody being killed in 2016. I mean, your party won that elections. You were in government for 4 years. You were in charge of the entire, Ghana Armed Forces and the security agencies. You did not investigate that.
No, what happened was when that election was conducted. I think maybe is the timing. I think it was rather 20. I think when they won the 2008 election. Yes, that was when. So it was rather under His Excellency former President Mahama that it happened. The three that were involved ran away to Dubai because it was under. You remember we found one of them under the bed of Honorable Eric Opoku. I didn't want to make these statements because of ethical reasons, but you could remember what happened. You know, and the point that we are talking about that people do not understand that is that you cannot just pick a segment. You need to consider the entire period or whatever the political season that we have been experiencing these violence. What happened? We knew about Azuka Boys for 3 consecutive elections or terms. for 12 good years before we got to know Bulgar Bulldogs and then these other vigilante groups that we all condemn. So what we are saying is that if you want to investigate some of these things, what happens we remember Honorable Elizabeth Ohen's brother. The eyes was plugged. You remember? It was plugged. A doctor, he lost his eye. What happened in Talansi, Benabe, Etiwa, Asokwa, Asnafo South? What happened in all these areas? Can you just pick one out of many and investigate? So we are saying that, okay, it is a good call. We support that. Let us investigate all incidents that actually prevailed in all these times that we had election and know that, okay, if we want to find solution to it, we need to do it so that we have eternal solution or permanent solution. We're not going to go in and then one day it begins to have sinusoidal performance in terms of the graph of what is happening. But what we are saying is that we agree it is unacceptable. So what happened? What actually started the whole Azuka Boy issues?
Yeah, okay. Let me bring in Ms. Agaga. It appears to me that both sides have very different positions on this matter as to the scope and the reference point for this investigations and the committee's work. It appears you need consensus on this matter. What is it that your side is willing to concede to allow this process to go on?
I think your question is very legitimate.
No, sorry. I'm asking that to Agaga, then I'll ask you the same question. I want to hear Agaga from Ms. Agaga.
Sorry, because
Ms. Agaga.
Yes. First of all, I think that we should be guided by precedent. Look, only last year, when the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election operations occurred and resulted in the naming of people which brought the election to, if you like, an abrupt end for the NDC at the time, the government of President Akufo-Addo set up a commission of inquiry to look into that specific incident. So, Evans, I don't know what has suddenly changed, and my colleagues on the other side want us to open a Pandora box and travel as far as 1993.
Well, I see. I hear your concern. I hear your concern, but where you are is where you are now. My question is, we need to find a way to make progress. I mean, what is it that will resolve this matter?
And so the point I'm making is that the only solution to this problem is to be guided by precedent. And I am making specific reference to the Commission of Inquiry that was set up by President Akufo-Addo to specifically look into the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election debacle.
So bottom line, the minority side,
if you want to travel as far as 1993, you'd be embarking upon a wild goose chase, because where would you find some of the witnesses? Most of the actors may have died, and that is a cardinal rule in investigations.
So bottom line, you won't give up your position on investigating.
Our position is very clear. We've already filed our motion.
You're not ready to compromise to expand the scope.
The counter motion they have filed is a filibuster, tactic, who should be disregarded or treated with contempt.
Okay. Ms. Amwa, what about you? I mean, are you willing to compromise on anything?
Evans, it's very unfortunate because I'm in Parliament. You know what? I think the question you asked was very legitimate, and all of us should understand that it is time we all understood the fact that we need to redefine a new point of convergence where all of us will agree that, yes, this has been with us for over 40 years now, from CPP, Martin time up to now. So you cannot just pick just one incident and conduct inquiries. That will not solve the problem. We need comprehensive review and comprehensive solution so that once and for all, this issue can be actually prevented in our society once and for all, because it is unacceptable. But if they try to take a position, say that, we only have to concentrate on only one issue because we started it, then it means they are not doing that in good faith. We need to be holistic about this issue.
Okay, I'm grateful. That's Stephen Amwa there. Also, earlier you had James Agaga, who is a former Deputy Interior Minister. Where do you stand on this? I want to hear from you. 055-11-11997. Should the parliamentary inquiry restrict and limit itself to the violence in the 2020 elections, or should it expand its scope to 1993 all the way down to last year's elections? Have your say. 055-11-11997. It has been months of legal tussle, starting from the High Court and ending at the Supreme Court. The story of the residents of Santro Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi, they did not vote in the parliamentary elections, as the area which previously fell within the Hohoi constituency of the Volta region is now a part of the Volta region. The Supreme Court today affirmed its earlier decision that stated that the whole High Court erred when it granted an injunction against the gazetting of John Peter Amewu as Hohoi MP. Court correspondent Joseph Akable has the rest of the story.
The Supreme Court delivered two major decisions that had implications for the residents. The first affirmed the position of the law that an area cannot straddle in two regions. The EC, on the eve of the December polls, took the view that Sao residents will not be voting the parliamentary polls. They had previously voted in the Hohoi constituency, which was eventually won by John Peter Amewu. They secured an injunction against the gazetting of John Peter Amewu as Hohoi MP-elect. The Supreme Court ruled that the High Court got it wrong in granting an injunction since they filed a human rights action instead of an election petition. Mr. Chikaita, who represents the Sao residents, filed for a review, insisting the judges committed errors of law. This was dismissed by the Supreme Court today.
And that's wrap there from court today. Details of this will be discussed on PM Express tonight with the parties as they look forward to alternative solution to the matter of their voting rights. You want to join us for that conversation. Now, the Civil Society and Local Government Staff Association tonight, they are up in arms against the National Pensions Regulatory Authority after it emerged that the Controller and Accountant General failed to transfer deducted pension funds to SNIT. The Auditor General's 2019 report on public boards, corporations and statutory institutions revealed that the Controller and Accountant General failed to transfer 1.2 billion cedis of public sector workers' contributions to SNIT. But Public Relations Officer of CROCSAC, Edmond Akwe, told Joy News that if the Pensions Regulatory Authority was up to task, this infraction would not have occurred. We'll hear from him shortly, but first listen to this report by my colleague Elton Broby detailing this development, which, according to the Auditor General, poses a major threat to retirement incomes.
Section 3 of the National Pension Act 2008, Act 766, states that out of the total contribution of 18.5%, an employer shall, within 14 days from the end of each month, transfer the following remittance to the mandatory scheme on behalf of each worker: 13.5% to the first-tier mandatory basic national security scheme and 5% to the second-tier mandatory occupational pension scheme. Section 64 of the Act 766 provides that in case of default, a sum equal to 3% per month of the contribution payable shall be added to the contribution due as penalty. According to the Auditor General, the review of the Social Security Fund contribution in respect of employee deduction of 5%, together with employers' contribution of 13.5% for 2016, amounting to 491 million Ghana cedis, had not been remitted to the trust by the Controller and Accountant General as at the time of the audit. The report also noted that out of the total bill of 2.492 billion Ghana cedis submitted by SNIT, the Controller and Accountant General paid only 1.7 billion Ghana cedis, leaving a balance of 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. For the Auditor General, failure to remit the contribution to the trust could result in the following: non-investment in the first tier of workers' contribution on time to ensure value for money, non-transfer of second tier to National Pension Regulatory Authority for onward transfer to the trustee for timely investment, non-transfer of 2.5% of National Health Insurance levy to the scheme to enable timely transfer to the service providers in order to ensure delivery of quality health service. The trust's ability to pay pension on time may be hampered and thereby pose a threat to retirement income security to workers. The Auditor General recommends to management to enforce Section 64 of the Act to recover all outstanding balance of the SNIT Security Fund contribution to ensure retirement income security for workers.
Well, tonight we're hearing from the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, and they are blaming the Pensions Regulatory Authority for failing to do its job.
We are joking with our pensions as a nation because if deductions have been made by Controller and Accountant General on the workers' salaries, deductions of their pensions have been deducted right at source, and it is still being kept and not transferred to the various banks or otherwise split for it to be well invested, for interest to be made on those money, and it's still being kept. Then we are joking with our pensions as a nation. The law in itself mandates that within 14 days, when those deductions are made, within 14 days, the deductions that have been made on the salaries, being the pensions, should be sent to the various investments. So if the Auditor General's report is revealed that the money that have been, deducted as pension for workers is still being kept and has not been transferred to pension schemes, then it is in bad faith. It means somebody is really not working very hard to ensure some of these things are done. And who are we talking about? NPRA. NPRA is sitting down aloof, allowing more irregularities to go on within the pension system, which is very, very bad. NPRA is the regulator of pensions. And we ask ourselves whether the NPRA is up to the task. We are facing more pension issues. Why? Because the regulator is not doing its job. The regulator is supposed to ensure that monies that have been set from the workers' salary being their pensions is sent to the rightful schemes for it to be invested within the 14 days. The regulator is to ensure that the kind of investments that these schemes, carry out investments in are good investments that will yield enough so that when the pensioner is going for pension, he's well being paid, he's given much income as his pension benefit.
And Edmond Akwe there speaks for Clocksack. He also accuses the Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNIT of mismanaging workers' pension funds.
Today, we see SNIT investing in unnecessary projects at Nigeria. The overhead cost, the administrative cost from SNIT is too much. SNIT investment lines are misplaced. How can SNIT carry Black Stars and say, we are going to sponsor Black Stars, support it. So you travel, you move them from Ghana to abroad with pensioners' money. How can SNIT build Buku Arena, a boxing square, with pensioners' money? What kind of investment is that? Look at the country, look within the country, across the country. You see, the kind of SNIT projects that you see, uncompleted SNIT projects, all pensioners' money. And yet pensioners go on pension and you short.
What do you make of this if you are a worker and you're hearing that huge sums of your pensions that have been deducted haven't been paid into the right account, amounting to 1.2 billion cedis? I want to hear from you, 055-111-11997. I'll share your comments with you shortly here on Newsnight. Let's stay with the revelations in the latest Auditor General's report, because the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, which has also been reacting now to the infractions identified by the Auditor General. Now, the 2019 report highlighted financial anomalies, including 850,000 Ghana cedis spent on consultancy fees without official receipts, over 400,000 cedis spent on medical bills for food poisoning of staff, which did not also have official receipts, plus an amount of 17,000 cedis plus scholarships as travel item and shipment allowance without supporting documentation. The Commission, whilst admitting the infractions occurred in 2016, revealed that major steps have been taken to repair the damage caused. Director General of the Commission, Dr. Kojo Evans Mensah, has been speaking to my colleague, MFA Powell.
The report is up to 31st December 2019, but it does not state that these things happened in 2019, as has been captured by some of the press titles. All these three incidents which you've enumerated, the issues with the consultants, the issue with the food poisoning, and the issue with the scholarship, the shipment, all took place in 2016. Yes. No, it's 4 years ago.
But the report is 2019 Auditor General's report.
That's the title of the report. It's ending 2019, which means that it takes care of all the 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 issues. You remember that was the time the 40-year development plan was being prepared by the National Development Planning Commission. And so there were a lot of consultancy were given out for consultants to do that in 2016. So when they finished in 2016, a lot of them were paid. Usually in an accounting system, when you receive a check, you sign, okay, that you have received the check, and these things were done. But when the check is taken up by the organization or by individual, the request of the auditor was that there must be an explicit receipt issued by the receiver of the check. Instead of just endorsing that I've received the check, the person must also issue a receipt. So this was outstanding. She's still a current staff who has been, yes, she's here. So it's not somebody who has gone far away that we're going to chase, no.
But if she's still here, like you say, and two issues comes up, that she's not the only one that you've given such scholarship to.
No.
So it's interesting that it's only her case that this issue about providing receipts has come up. And if she's still here, how come by 2019 when this report was being put together, she didn't satisfy all that for it to be captured in the report? As I said, the once it's an interaction, because once an audit query is made, it's incumbent upon the institution to respond, and it has to be in writing with all the evidence, so that, because it could shift from one auditor to another, and that's what exactly happened. The person who audited and came out with the queries, at the time that they were responding to, the person wasn't there to pick the information. The money was spent in 2016. Okay, because 2019, we know our budget. It doesn't come anywhere near this when it comes to consultancy. And it is at the time that the commission has decided. In 2018, the commission decided, that was a new commission headed by Professor Ade. And Professor Stephen Ade's commission decided that a lot of the work which are done by consultants should be done by internal staff. We become more relevant. We become more visible. We are becoming more innovative. And that is what we need to bring to the public.
And that's ahead of the Development Planning Commission there on the Auditor General report. I want to read you a few of your messages now. Walanyo Nakwetia says, what is violence when more than that of what happened in Tripoli, Etiwa, and Nakwetia? I totally agree with the majority MPs. Parliament should investigate all election violence. This one says, has this snake insanity ever occurred in the history of Ghana? You should know who is managing Ghana now. That's Cecil there. This one from Ernest in Adenta says, are we seeing how precarious our energy sector, our pensions, our general economic management, and even the management of COVID battle have become due to the official lies? That is one unfortunate institutional behavior that needs to change for sustainable progress. This one has no name. He says, I agree perfectly with the NDC MP's position on the matter on electoral violence. As recent as last year, the Emil Shotts Commission of Inquiry made some good recommendations to the government. As we speak, not even one has been executed, he says, in terms of investigated and followed through on that. More on that concern raised by the both sides of the House, really. And we'll also bring you a few more of your views on the subject of the impending major tariff review shortly. But George Yafe is joining me with the latest on the world of business. Hello, George.
And coming up, government secures more than the amount targeted in the Eurobond auction, but took just a little over $3 billion as investors actually sought higher rates on funds offered. And Evans Bank of Ghana denies lending more than the approved 10 billion Ghana cedis by Parliament. I'll be getting you more details on that one. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and Allianz Insurance.
hard for your money, and that is why we are constantly creating more secure and innovative ways for you to keep your money safe everywhere you go. Experience a safer and more secure way to do all your transactions with MTN Momo. Present your national ID, voter's ID, NHIS card, passport, driver's license, or your SNIT ID card whenever you visit any Momo agent's point. Keep your transactions safe and secure everywhere you go because we are good together. Remember to present any of these valid national ID cards for all your Momo transactions at agent's points beginning from Friday, 2nd April 2021. Everywhere you go.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
Is on Newsnight. Now, the Finance Ministry secured more than the targeted amount in its Eurobond auction. This is, however, just a little over $3 billion because of higher interest rate offered by investors, despite the fact that more than $6 billion came through. We have more in the following Business Desk report.
Going into this auction, government was hoping to secure about $5 billion from investors. This was supposed to be done in 4 tranches. That's the 4-year bond that should have been zero-rated, with one of the full payments made last year. Also, the 7-year paper, the 12-year bond, and a 20-year paper. But due to higher rates offered, government cut the rate around 8.25% for a 20-year bond. This should mean that government was hoping to get about $5 billion, but actually took just a little over $3 billion. We are learning that this was due to the fact that the market rate was very tight, and it was not advisable to take anything above 9%. Government was hoping to raise the papers through Eurobonds, diaspora bonds, sustainable bonds, and syndicated loans. However, in a press release issued by the Finance Ministry, government maintained that the bond was oversubscribed. Based on the results, it got $1 billion for the 7-year bond at a coupon rate of 7.75%. The 12-year bond also got $1 billion with an interest rate of 8.65% and $500 million for the 20-year bond, which government will pay an interest of 8.87%. The ministry also in a statement maintained that Ghana is the first emerging market to add a zero-rated bond to its bond financing portfolio. This is significant as it enables the government to create fiscal space to rebuild the economy. The Minister of Finance in a statement argued that this is historic and a strong signal that investors have confidence in Ghana's debt sustainability and economic recovery. Parts of the proceeds shall be used for domestic liability management, support the budget deficit by funding growth-oriented expenditures in the budget as well. Government noted that despite the looming risk of a possible third wave of COVID-19, the country had a strong demand for its bonds. Beaufort Securities, Citibank, Rand Merchant Bank, Standard Bank, and Standard Chartered Bank acted as lead managers in raising the funds. They were also held by Carl Bank PLC, Data Bank, Fidelity Bank, IC Securities, and Temple Investors.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, the Bank of Ghana has denied lending to government more than what was approved by Parliament last year. Now, Parliament in 2020 gave the government the borrowing cap of 10 billion Ghana cedis from the Bank of Ghana. However, in the 2021 budget statement showed that Bank of Ghana lent actually 22.5 billion Ghana cedis to government. This has resulted in the minority raising red flag about the issue, insisting that the governor of the Bank of Ghana will have to appear before the House to answer some questions. But head of research at the Bank of Ghana, Philip Abrodo, to insist that they stuck with the 10 billion Ghana cedis cap.
But the whole 22.5 is not high-powered money that was taken out of the central bank and given to government. 10 billion of that amount is as a result of the asset purchase program. Then we also have the IMF rapid credit facility. You may recall that at the height of the pandemic, the IMF made available resources to help low-income countries and some middle-income countries to help deal with the pandemic. Ghana got $1 billion out of that amount. The IMF indicated clearly that it should be treated as a budget support. The problem is that the IMF does not deal with government. The IMF deals with government through the central bank. So what the IMF did was that it lent the money to the central bank. And the central bank then unlent the money to government. So the monies hit our reserves. We give government the CD deposits, put it in the account, and then at the same time, because we lent the monies to government, we created a claim on government. So that extra $1 billion, which amounted to, I think, 5.587 billion Ghana cedis, in the books of the central bank, will be seen as a lending that the central bank had done to government.
What about the extra 4 something?
Well, the extra 4%, there was also a near 1 billion Ghana cedis, which was as a result of the completion of the IMF ECF program.
Philip Abrodotu is the head of research at the Bank of Ghana. The Association of Ghana Industry says it will be engaging government on the specific rules for the proposed National Development Bank under the Ghana Cares program. The move is to ensure that the bank has the necessary capacity to support businesses to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Let's hear from the Vice President of the Association, Humphrey Eyimdake.
Complementing the Ghana Exim and leveraging on the Afri-Exim, which are one of the drivers of the AFTA and AFDB, so that we can get soft funding for portfolio development and project development that consciously promoted to export into the African space. And those are the areas we wish to engage government on in formulating policies that can aid us to do that. If not, we'll all find ourselves in a middle-income trap economy, and then the consequences will only leave us to a lot of service-related industries, and we cannot take advantage of AFTA. And then the consequences will be that we become a dumping ground for most of our contemporaries in the North African countries, the South African countries, and the Eastern Bloc, who already have competitive advantage over us. Those are the cry of the business community. How do we navigate this space to attain the common?
Humphrey Eyimdake is Vice President of AGA in charge of SMEs, and he was speaking at the Graphic Business Stanbic Breakfast meeting here in Accra on the African Free Trade Area. And the National Pensions Regulatory Authority has announced that it will soon set up a pensions college to provide actually basic and professional training in pensions. According to the Chief Executive of the authority, Heford Atakrofi, the college will actually help deepen financial literacy, especially on pension products. He spoke to Joy Business at a press briefing in Accra.
And also we want to roll out a pensions college which will help with the knowledge and understanding of the practitioners in the industry so that they will be able to understand what their roles and their responsibilities are, especially as trustees, and how to look after the funds that they look after on behalf of the contributors.
Ifoda Takrofi is the Chief Executive of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. And that's all for business on Newsnight. And Evans, looks like the Bank of Ghana has cleared the air on the concerns raised by the minority in Parliament that they actually lent more than 10 billion Ghana cedis to government.
Well, let's see if that will address the minority's concerns. George, thank you very much. Now, a few of your messages still coming through on our WhatsApp console. This one from Menace says the minority in Parliament have gotten it all wrong. All general elections are characterized by emotions, commotion. Why select 2020 election? Ghanaians are awake to condemn the minority. This one from Nana on the Spinters Road says the utility pricing going up is scary. As it stands now, electricity, petrol, water, Wi-Fi, etc. are far expensive than it is in the UK with a very good standard of living. I have said over and over again that Ghana is most expensive country to live in. Nana is saying that from the Spinks Road. Citizen Siko Togo from East Legon says, I think that if the amount of approximately 20 billion has been lost in public revenue since 2017, according to the Auditor General's report, political leaders are the biggest hurdles we have to clear to fully develop beyond aid, he says. Another one says, what does the minority want us to do? Every election violence must be investigated from time immemorial, he says. Hayford says, I am dumbfounded about the entrenched position taken by the MPP minority in Parliament regarding the call by the minority for parliamentary inquiry to seek justice for for innocent Ghanaians who lost their lives in the December elections. David Inakachi says the Controller and Accountant General's Department must be sued for withholding workers' pension deductions. Workers must advise themselves. They are calling for industrial action. Nelson in Dansuman says, I feel sad when it's news time and we have our MPs on the show. The politicians are to blame for the direction this country is heading in. Nana Kwama says, I think the NDC is simply afraid of their past. That is why they don't want us to revisit those horrific moments in our history. This one has no name. He says, I agree perfectly with the NDC's MP's position on the matter of electoral violence. And finally, as recent as last year, the Emil Shorts Commission of Inquiry made some good recommendations to the government. As we speak, not even one has been followed through. Those are a few of your messages on our WhatsApp console. I want to take you now to the Volta region, which is tonight recording its third spousal killing in just 1 month. The Volta Regional Police has now started investigations into yet another killing, and they're looking into the circumstances under which a 38-year-old man allegedly beat his 34-year-old wife to death at Denu in the Volta region. According to the police, the suspect secretly deposited the body of the victim at the morgue. Police moved in. They inspected the body, which they saw bruises with blood oozing from a broken jaw. And here's the Volta Regional Police PRO, Sergeant Prince Dobache, with details of the incident.
The Dano District Police Command received information to the effect that a young man had beaten and killed the wife, and afterwards moved the body of the deceased Hosanna mortuary for preservation. Police quickly proceeded to the said mortuary in Abozuma and met the suspect, which is the husband of the deceased, and then the mortuary attendant. Police quickly initiated action into this development, and the inspection on the body, per the information gathered, revealed that there were bruises, contusion, and blood oozing from a broken jaw of the deceased. And further checks also revealed that the mortuary attendant had connived with the suspect Gali Golo to embalm the body of the deceased. And this, we believe, was done deliberately to thwart any serious investigation into the cause of death of the deceased. So currently we have arrested both Gali Golo, the husband of the deceased, and the mortuary attendant, who also compromised on his duties at the facility. That is William Becker, and they are assisting our investigation. Neighbors attempted to rescue the wife. He threatened to kill them, and that led to the death of 34-year-old wife. Now, both are in custody, and they will be put before court as soon as possible. Meanwhile, we want to use the occasion to appeal to everybody. We have recorded in a series cases of spousal attacks and killings. Although some are alleged to have been done, others happened outright. So we want to use the occasion to appeal to everybody to let us know, especially where they are involved in abusive relationships, so that we can avoid or deal with some of these issues before they degenerate into very serious issues. If the neighbors who had attempted to rescue this woman from the abusive husband had not relented in their own effort, but resorted to the police, we would have intervened to avoid this loss of life.
And that's the spokesperson for the whole police command in a separate development. The prime suspect in the alleged murder of another 25-year-old woman in Ho, still in the Volta region, is pleading for more time to recover before he is prosecuted. The suspect, a footballer, reportedly stabbed himself multiple times in an attempt to commit suicide after killing his girlfriend. Here is the whole municipal commander, Superintendent Anthony Danso.
At the moment, the suspect is still at the hospital receiving treatment, and we are getting from the hospital authorities that he is recovering. We are also hoping that the recovery rate moves faster so that we can try and solicit more information from him about the case. Notwithstanding, we are still extending our investigation to the community to also get information about their relationship, whether there have been times or there were times that they were violent towards each other, just to try and confirm what we have on the table. So all that I can say is investigation is ongoing. We still try to get some people who initially didn't want to come up. We're still trying to get them to assist us, and we are also hoping that he will recover fast to assist us in the
Now, we also understand that an autopsy will be done on the body of the deceased. Has that been carried out?
At the moment, we have not done that, but it will be done in the next few days. Yes, that has been our position, that it was murder, that the gentleman killed the lady and attempted suicide. But because it is still under investigation, we don't want to go further. In due course, we will bring out the facts to the public.
Well, a tragic story there in the Volta region. Still listening to Newsnight is on Joy 99.7 FM. It's not time for sports. Details after the break.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
And Evans Mensah Ando is here with the latest from the world of sports. Hans?
Well, Evans, usually when you hear of the minority leader, you're thinking parliamentary business. But this time around, he also doubles as the president of Steadfast FC.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Division 1 club in Tamale. And Steadfast is the club that, produced the under-20 AFCON best player, Abdullah Sahako, and he's made some revelations to the effect that the club has received multiple offers for the 17-year-old midfielder. The 2021 AFCON Golden Ball winner has received many offers, according to the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, and he revealed these in a conversation with my colleague George Adu Jr. He said there are offers from main Europe and other parts of the world.
We've had some offers from some major football clubs internationally. We are looking at some offers from Austria, from Geneva, from Italy, and from Qatar. We are weighing what is it that gives him the best opportunity and give the club the best returns tomorrow. But more importantly, that he has opportunity to play and he has opportunity to contribute to Ghana achieving some soccer laurels in terms of bringing gold to Ghana.
So that's the minority leader Haruna Idrisu speaking there, confirming offers for Abdul Fattah Isahaku. That's your sports.
Hans, thank you very much. Now, to Parliament now, because the Bolga Central MP, Isaac Adongo, has criticized his party's leadership in Parliament for consenting to the approval of Ken Ofori-Atta as finance minister. He insists Ken Ofori-Atta epitomizes all that is wrong with the country's economy and shouldn't have been given an approval by consensus. He described as disappointing the explanation provided by the leadership of the NDC that Mr. Ofori-Atta was approved because he had messed up the economy. Speaking to the media, the Boga Central MP observed that he was absent yesterday because he did not want to associate himself with the approval of Ken Ofori-Atta.
Ken Ofori-Atta epitomizes all that is wrong with our financial and the economic sector of Ghana. And I'm the last person to endorse such a move. And that is why I wanted the records to show that I'm absent. So I did not even go there to sign. If there's anybody who will put his life on the line to get Ken Ofori-Atta not to be a minister for finance, you can wake me up any day. But it's a collective decision. I disagree with the decision, but I respect the view of the majority. He's messed us up to this point in time. Right. And there are very credible people within the MPP who can take the most difficult task of turning our country around. As I speak today, I am telling you that one of his schemes is to collapse at Qatar with a bond, a zero coupon bond. Is that how you carry your cross? If you ask me, you cut your losses and begin the difficult process of rebuilding with 4 years ahead. And we have 4 years of rebuilding that we have lost. But nevertheless, we must.
Isaac, I don't go there. Now to Boyem. It's translated as in the belly of the rock. It's an important landmark in the history of the Bono people. It is located 15 kilometers from Techiman in the Bono East region. The small town was the first settlement for the Bonos in the 17th century after the Ashantis defeated them. Though many people know little about it, the history of Techiman and the Bono people cannot be complete without reference to it. And that's a bit visited the town and brings us the rich history and tourist attractions there as part of our Ghana Man series.
Historically, you can't trace the history of the Bono people without factoring Boyam. We are told that this place became a safe haven for them during those days when they had a beef with the Ashantis.
So they settled here at their first place where they discovered that here is a secret place that they can stay because it has been surrounded by the rock, and due to the rocks, they can easily protect themselves.
Years later, the Boyam chief sent one of his nephews to settle in what we now know as the capital of the Bono East region, Techiman, due to its strategic location. Little did he know that Techiman would later grow bigger than Boyam.
Due to the fight, the chief allowed his nephew to go and settle on the junction so that when any stranger is coming, he should inform him that the chief himself is in Boyam.
The Boyam community, apart from being a safe haven for the Bonos when they moved from Bono Manso, has a lot of historical tourist sites. Key amongst them are 3 different waterfalls, the African Rock, Bat Caves, amongst others. We managed to visit some of these sites. First, the Bibri Waterfalls.
We call here Bibri Waterfalls. It calls its name because the stream is very powerful. In the olden days, when we are just going to take any examination, they used all the students to be here to bath in this water. After the bathing, when you go, everybody will pass without paying anything.
A very interesting story there. If you ever happen to travel to the region, please look out for Boyem. Visit the place, and of course, enjoy rich Ghanaian culture and heritage. I want to take you to myjoyonline.com, just telling about the stories that a lot of you are reading already. The Supreme Court dismissing the Sal case is still one that a lot of you are interested in on the page. Asiru Nketia, appointed to Parliamentary Service Board, is being consumed by a lot of you on myjoyonline.com. A SEPA boss believes Speaker may just order Health Minister arrest for snubbing Parliament is also one that is still trending. We're yet to hear what the Speaker's decision is on this matter. Thief trapped inside church after robbery attempt goes wrong is still on the page. Gridco in talks with ECG Netco to roll out Doomsaw timetable. It's been read by loads of you. Attorney General tax IGP to deal with unsolved murders and domestic violence. And of course, my personal favorite, without ambition, you can't matter. Be determined to stand out. Bishop Ajinasari to young pastors is also on the page. You want to make your way to myjournal.com and read the details on the page. Thank you for listening to the news. Remember to brush your teeth with Pepsodent. My name is Evans Mensah, Pepsodent, because every smile matters. And it's time now for Geek Squad. And my man from St. Thomas Aquinas is here with the very exciting details of what to expect tonight on Geek Squad. What's up, Spikey?
Yeah, you know, the same old, but not too same old. What's the first phone you used?
Oh, Nokia 3310, I think it was.
It?
Yeah, Nokia 3310. I remember I bought that phone, and eventually I got robbed of it.
And what SIM card did you put in it?
I forgot it, but that was a big one. That thick, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
What network?
That must be Tigo, if I'm not mistaken. Buzz. Yeah, it was Buzz then. True, just Buzz. Yeah, it's so involved,
yeah. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about, the evolution of the telephone, from where it started to where it is now.
Yeah, Majina Bontina Mikasi.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that advert. Yeah, wow. Well, please join him and his Geek Squad as they discuss that and more here on Joy 99.7 FM.